Welcome back to the REI Marketing Weekly. It's your host, Josh Culler with Color Media and REI.video. Man, I'm excited about today's episode because I finally got the man, the myth, the legend, Matt Andrews on the show. I've been trying to make this happen, but Matt is just way too busy for us. But now we've finally captured him and got him on the show. So Matt Andrews, what's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Awesome, man. It's not that I'm too busy. It's that I don't like you, Josh. And I was trying to avoid. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
You know what? It's like we're still, I had to pay him in order to get him on the show, guys. That's what's that, Cameo? Is that what it is? Cameo. That platform to get him on here?
$8,000 and I'll be on your podcast. No, just kidding.
That's right.
No,
that's
Josh.
Right. That's how much I had to pay.
It's my pleasure to be here, man. Thanks for having me. And thanks for everything you do in the real estate community. And I'm just jazzed to be here, man.
Man, I'm excited. So Matt is a good friend of mine. I am actually a part of his mastermind called the Family Mastermind. And I refer people to him all the time. He even had to tell me today, like, we have to shut it down. So like, I'm always sending my clients over to him because it is just an incredible group to be a part of. And the family mastermind and the family reunion. And man, am I pumped about the event coming up in September. So I think this show is going to be going out right around that time. So I'm super pumped about that. But Matt is an incredible mind when it comes to marketing. And he's been in the real estate investing industry for, I don't know, what, 20 plus years. Is that right, Matt?
20 years, man. I'm old.
Oh, geez. So I'm 27. So you've been in it since I was in kindergarten or somewhere in there. First grade, maybe.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. Yeah.
So Matt's been in real estate for a long time and just has an incredible amount of experience, but I think it's not just the experience that he's had, but the ability to dip into other real estate investors and just the network that he has and what they're doing in their marketing is just so invaluable. And so I'm excited to talk about the topic we're going to talk about today is the fusion of real estate, your actual real estate business with marketing, because this is an extremely important topic to talk about because a lot of people, and we mentioned it several times on the show here, but a lot of real estate investors like to bootstrap their marketing. They don't know the fundamentals. They don't know the core principles. And then they just end up doing what other people in their market are doing. And they just get lost in the white noise. So the importance of understanding how to fuse your real estate business with your marketing is just something that everybody needs to know. So we're going to talk about that today. But before we get into it, if you haven't already, make sure you have subscribed to the REI Marketing Weekly. No matter what platform you're on, if you are on Apple Podcasts, make sure to head over after this show, not before, not during, but after the show, head over back to the homepage of this show. Leave me a 5-star review with your feedback. I'd much appreciate that. And then if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Josh@colormedia.com is my email address. You can always visit my website, colormedia.com, in order to see all the things that we got going on. Got another great podcast called The Content Marketing Playbook, where all I talk about is content marketing for just about any business or any industry, but all the principles of content marketing and what you can do with it. So you can find that on colormedia.com. And then everything else that we got going on. Make sure you do check out REI.video, a platform where you can film your own video content, but you don't have to do the heavy lifting and the editing. So all you got to do is film your own content, whether it's with your cell phone, through Zoom, a camera, whatever you have, send that raw footage over to the platform. And then we're going to do all the heavy lifting for you, whether that's the editing process through cutting out mess ups or the beginning, the end, adding titles, captions, adding music, anything that you want to the video. 48-hour turnaround time with unlimited revision, so you get exactly what you're looking for. So if you have testimonials, property walkthroughs, any educational, informational videos for your website or whatever, send that on over. We'll do the editing for you. Use coupon code FIRSTVID at checkout for 50% off your first video. You're going to get exactly what you're looking for. So make sure you do that, rei.video. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and jump into the show today. Man, I'm excited about talking about this topic because it's not talked about enough. Matt, do me a favor for the people that don't know who you are, to start this off before we jump into the show, who you are, what you do, a little bit of the origin story of Matt Andrews and how you've come to be who you are today.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, again, thanks for having me here. And let me just give you a shout out and say, if you're in the real estate space, in the real estate investing space in any way, shape, or form, and you're not following Josh, you're not taking advantage of the tools that he has out there, you're not hiring him to do videos or going to rei.video using that service, I mean, you guys are missing the boat, because what I've found in the real estate business, especially in the wholesaling business, the rehabbing business, all those what I call traditional real estate businesses, it's the best marketer wins, right? And that is across all business, right? So Josh is your source for that. So I can't thank him enough for everything he does for the community. And if you're not taking advantage of everything he's got, you're missing the boat, right? You're leaving yourself open to being swallowed by your competition, because the best marketer wins. And that's what I've learned in my real estate business. So, going back, I started flipping properties, started wholesaling properties, although we didn't call it wholesaling way back when in 2000. I think 1999, 2000 is when I first started my real estate business, my first business. I was working for a Fortune 500 company. I was, selling like crazy for them. I was on the fast track in the corporate world. Was getting trophies and accolades and all kinds of things going on in that world, and thought I was the big stuff, company car, expense account, all that kind of stuff. And I'm in my 20s thinking I am the stuff. And then one day my boss calls me in and says, hey, congratulations over these last couple of years. You've built this amazing book of business. You got this amazing pipeline. Everything you've created is awesome. We're shutting down your entire division, and you're going to have to start all over again. I was like, oh, great. And so I was just like, are you kidding me? And so after 2 years of thinking, man, I'm building this pipeline, I'm getting all these accolades, then they shut me down and basically say, we're moving you over here, and now you're going to do this. And that's when I realized the lack of control that I had, right? So I know I'm probably preaching to the choir here with real estate entrepreneurs. A lot of you maybe went through that same thing, right? Had the rug yanked out from under you. But that was me in 1999, 2000. And so I moved over to that other division. I gave them about 50% of my mental bandwidth. And with the other 50%, I started studying real estate. I bought a Carlton Sheets course from late night television, started, learning about it. Ron LeGrand was one of the early books I read, who's a cool dude who's actually in one of our masterminds now that Josh is in, which is awesome to have one of my early mentors in one of my groups. But I started learning how to flip properties, wholesale properties. And from 2000 to about 2008, I just did rehab after rehab. Started doing some wholesaling, even though we just called it quick turn real estate then, basically assigning contracts. In 2008, the market dropped out. Those of you that were around then remember the market dropped out like crazy. And that was around the time that I really started studying marketing. So 2008, 2009, our business was really growing. We were picking up a lot of foreclosures, turning a lot of those. And then I think it was right around 2010, maybe, I was sitting in an event by a company called Digital Marketer, and I was listening to a man who became a really good friend, is a good friend to this day, Mr. Ryan Dice, who some of you might know that name, unbelievable marketer and really just kind of an influencer in that space. I was sitting there listening to him, and I learned just some very basic SEO tactics of how to take YouTube videos and how to take Facebook pages and keyword optimize those so that leads would start coming to me for free. Right. And I could start getting buyers from all over the world because I had keyword optimized these pages and these YouTube videos. And honestly, back then it was that simple. Right. And that's when the light bulb went off. Okay, I'm looking for deals. I'm looking for buyers, and I'm doing all the same things that everybody else is doing to this point. Right. Doing pretty well, but like a hamster in a wheel. And then I started understanding, and the light bulb went off. Marketing is the difference between being in the hamster wheel and working at a higher level, being able to scale the business. And so I started really leaning into the digital marketing side, or what became what we now call digital marketing. Back then it was just, using the internet to get leads, right? And so I started really leaning into that, started getting a lot of buyers, started getting buyers from all over the world. And pretty soon I was concentrating more on buyers than I even was on acquisition, because at the time, acquisition for me was fairly easy, right? I wasn't doing direct mail. I wasn't doing PPC. That wasn't even hardly a thing then, doing true Google PPC like we know it now and analyzing conversion rates and stuff like that. I didn't do any of that. I was really concentrating on finding buyers. So it got to the point where I was getting these buyers with cash, and I'd sell them a property, and then I'd sell them another property, then I'd sell them another property. Pretty soon, I was saying, okay, you got to buy at least 5 properties at once, because I was getting so many leads that I was turning down people that couldn't buy at least 5 at a time at between 50 and 100K per property. Then it became, you got to buy 10 properties at a time if you want to buy from me. Then it became, you got to buy 25 properties at a time if you want to deal with me. And my sweet spot was, you got to buy between 25 and 50 properties at a time, or at least put it in an order for 25 to 50 properties at a time. if you want to deal with me. And so I'd have guys calling me saying, hey, I got a couple $100,000. I want to buy properties. I'm like, ooh, that's good. I'll put you on the waiting list. But really, I'm only working with people that have a couple million and can buy 50 properties right now. And started literally shunning buyers that I didn't want. And then I worked with just a few key buyers. And all you need is, a few key buyers buying 40, 50 properties at a time to really, develop a great business. Now, out of that, we started, we were fixing them up for those buyers too. We were renting them out. I had an entire turnkey type operation, what's now become the turnkey business in our modern, vernacular, right? But we didn't call it that then. I just called it getting everything ready for you, And so that really was the basis for being able to keep properties free and clear. So I got into this cycle where, even though it wasn't the most sophisticated cycle, I would flip 5, 10, 15 properties, keep one. Flip 5 or 10, keep one. Flip 5 or 10, keep one. And when you're doing 40 or 50 at a time, that meant I started putting away a lot of free and clear properties with no leverage on them, started creating a lot of cash flow, started putting that cash flow back into the business. My wife was working full time with me, had no kids, so I could work as much as I wanted. It's a different picture today at my house, right? Yeah. But that's what created the basis for everything that's come after it. So today, fast forward to today, I'm really more of a consultant and a community builder and somebody who brings together the right people in the right place with the right mission. And whether that is, a group like Family Mastermind, like Josh is a part of, or a group of real estate influencers, or a group of real estate investors, or whether it's, charity projects that I work on all over the world, my whole world really revolves around getting the right people in the right place, in the right environment, with the right strategic mission, working on those things together and getting people on the same page so that we can help each other, right? But it all happened. It was all made possible. Those free and clear properties, all those buyers that came, that all happened because I leaned into marketing and really started understanding the fusion of real estate investing and marketing and the power of marketing. And Ryan Dice told me something back then that I hear almost every day. He would ask you, what do you do? And I'd say, well, I'm in real estate investing. He said, wrong. You're in marketing. Mm-hmm. And then he would ask somebody else, what do you? I know I'm in insurance. Wrong. You're in marketing, right? And that is the key. And that's the differentiator between the people that build a really true scalable business in real estate and those that just kind of putz along and do, a few deals, but are always kind of looking for that next deal hand to mouth, right? Yeah. And there are a lot of, quite honestly, there are a lot of, and Josh, some of them, there are a lot of poor real estate investors out there that do a ton of deals. And you're thinking, man, you do a lot of deals, but you're not making that much money. The difference truly is marketing, because marketing is what allows you to have the kind of leads you get to the point where you can shun certain leads that don't fit. And that's what allows you to build a scalable business. That's what allows you to build efficiencies into your business so you can get out of it and actually start looking at it from a higher level, because now you have this lead flow, and the right lead flow can cover up a lot of other problems in your business. But more importantly, it can create the bandwidth you need to create real scale in your business, right? Yeah. And so marketing and having all those leads came in is what allowed me to say, sorry, you can only buy 10 properties at once. I can't deal with you, and I couldn't believe that I got to the point where I was saying, sorry, I'm not going to sell you 10 properties at once, when a year or 2 years before that, I was begging somebody to buy, 2 at once, right? Yeah. But the marketing changed, the lead flow changed, and that just created that freedom. And so that's really kind of, how I got to where I am now. And so now it's really just about, hanging out with my friends, working on cool projects. And my definition of freedom, went from, it used to be, owning my own home when before I owned a house years and years ago. Then it went to like owning my own business, right? And developing passive income. My definition of freedom today is working with cool people on projects that I love working on that help other people and also make a lot of money in the process, right? Yeah. And so to me, that's freedom. So the projects, Josh, that you and I work on, the cool marketing initiatives that we work on together, things in your business that I'm working on with you, those are the kind of things that get me excited to get up in the morning, because it's like, man, I get to wake up this morning and do a cool podcast with Josh Culler. We're going to be on another meeting later today where we're meeting with some of our other cool friends, and we're going to work on some other cool projects there. And I just feel like the most blessed man in the world to be able to go from project to project with people that I have selected specifically to work with, and to be able to turn down in a lot of ways things that make a lot of money but don't fit my lifestyle or my integrity or just aren't fun, right? And so being able to do those kinds of things, to me now, that's freedom, and that's where I find myself today. And I find that I'm incredibly blessed to be in that position. And it's because of having people like you and other smart people in my life that I've surrounded myself with very purposefully.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm glad you went in that direction. And I think that like something I was thinking about while you were kind of talking about Ryan Dye's going through and asking what business are you in, and wrong, no, marketing.
Yeah.
And what I thought about is I've worked with over 250 real estate investors in some capacity, whether it's doing videos for them, editing videos, or actually like shooting videos, or being consultant with them, or, influencer side of things. And the best, just like thinking about it, I've always thought this is the best in the business are the best marketers. And it's not always just the CEO. It's the team of marketing that they built around them. I think of
Absolutely.
one of my good buddies and existing client, Eric Brewer, out in York, Pennsylvania, in Harrisburg area. And between his real estate business and his brokerage, they're doing about 600 deals a year. Like they're monsters in the area.
But he's in collective genius with my buddy Jason Medley. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And this guy though, like he's a good marketer himself, just because I think that's like his natural talent. But the team he's built around him in marketing for both businesses, and then also, we're putting out content for him on the influencer side. The marketing that they do, they know their target audience so extremely well, and they know what actually clicks with them, and they are able to market and bring in the insane amount. I think they're bringing in, I thought he told me it was about 300 leads a month or somewhere in that neighborhood. It's a pretty big number. Like actual qualified leads, not just not just leads, but like prospects. Yeah. And so
good leads.
And the reason is because they know their target audience so well that they're become excellent marketers in what they're doing. And they're just like the biggest in their area and some of the biggest in the entire country. So I think something important to talk about, and we've got a few minutes here that I want to, make sure that we capitalize on, is when it comes down to it, the fusion, we talk about the fusion of real estate and marketing, what it's been able to do for you. What is something that you notice in active real estate investors that they can't get over? We talk about this a lot, and I mentioned it earlier. A lot of real estate investors, they like to bootstrap everything in their business, and marketing is one of those things that they naturally do. And from the start, you have to do that. You have to do your own marketing. And I think it's still important to understand your marketing even after you delegate it. Yeah. But from a mindset perspective, what are some things that active investors need to be thinking about, or maybe get outside of their brain when it comes to marketing and bringing in leads and understanding how marketing actually fuses with their real estate business?
Yeah. Well, I think you touched on it there. It's realizing, and we've all had points in our business, especially in the beginning, where we bootstrap things, right? And I did a lot of things early in my business that I shouldn't have been doing, right? That I should have outsourced right away. And I continue to do a lot of things in my businesses, and have done that in various businesses, somehow not learning my lesson from one to the next, where I keep doing things that not only should I not have been doing because it wasn't the best use of my time, and I should have been leaning into what I was best at, which is in the real estate space, in the traditional real estate world, which is deal making, right? I shouldn't be working on a lot of the other things that aren't involved in making the deal. And so it's not just that, it's somebody else can do it better, right? So content creation, like I can create some content, but curating that content, putting it in the right places, making it look right. You're far better at that, Josh, than I'll ever be, right? Because that is one of your core skills, is micro messaging and creating content and boiling things down to its bare essential essence, And so for me, that was a big piece of it, was letting go of that, realizing that while I might be paying some money now that I feel like I have some fear about, I want to hold on to it. The right thing to do, so that I have a lot more money down the road, is to strategically outsource some of that, to let go some of that stuff. And I think sometimes it's budget driven and a fear of spending too much money on marketing, but also sometimes I think it's a control issue, right? I think we feel like as entrepreneurs, and many times as type A personalities, we feel like we're letting go control, and we want to hang on to that control. And what I'll tell you is, and what it was for me, and maybe this is the way it was, for some of you, that was fear. That was fear talking, right? Just fear of letting go, fear of giving control to somebody else. And the way I got over that was realizing I'm not letting control go. I am empowering other experts, and then I can be at a higher level, and I can pull those strings, or I can make those things happen. I can empower those people. So when you think about it as empowering other people or partners or hired guns or someone like you to do content, think about that as empowering someone to do that and helping your business so that you can do what you're best at, right? Your core skills or what you really enjoy doing. Not only will your business grow, not only are you creating a more scalable system, but you're going to enjoy life more. You're simply going to be more fulfilled because of what you like doing and what you're good at. We're going to enjoy doing what we're good at, right? And so I'm not technically inclined. So me trying to edit videos and me trying to put it on every platform like you know how to do and like your team at Color Media knows how to do, that stuff drives me crazy, right? It takes me 10 times longer than it should. And when I do something like that, the end result is it's poor, the quality is poor, and I didn't do something else that I should have been doing, which was, which would have actually grown my business. Yeah. So control is a big piece of it, having the confidence and then having the long view versus the short view. And I think that's what happens with a lot of real estate investors. And with me at different points is you're looking for a quick payday instead of building a system or having a long view of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So something else I want to go into that will kind of tail off, and then we'll have to wrap this episode up here, but we'll have you back again soon to talk about other stuff, not being Star Wars or superheroes, but we'll talk about marketing, and then we'll start another podcast for Star Wars and superheroes. So kind of wrapping this up, putting a bow on it, when it comes down to it, you've been in the business and you said you started really diving deep into marketing right around 2010. And I was kind of in the same boat because I actually got in the real estate investing industry in 2012. And at that point we were coming out of that recession. 8? Yes, when I was 8. So yeah, I was, you jerk. I take honor in that now. When somebody,
you should, man.
When I go to get a drink or something like that, and the waitress asks me for my ID, I actually I'm excited about that.
Hey, I'm only saying that because I'm jealous at where you are at your age, because I was not there. So
that's great. So when it comes down to I've been in the industry since 2012, and right then and there was when, the recession was coming out of its peak, especially here in the Midwest. We really didn't get hit that hard, but we got hit, and a lot of foreclosures were hitting the market. So we were in the same boat. So, I was with my buddy, Gary Harper, Tom Olson, and Wayne Schaefer, and we were this just monster marketing company inside of the Midwest, marketing into, 5 different states, wholesaling. And all the marketing we were doing was dispositions marketing, building buyers lists. And like you said, having just a couple people on our buyers list that we're going to sell, large chunks of properties to. And it's kind of funny. One of our primary buyers in Ohio was Matt Bell. And I didn't even realize it until, we were just selling properties. And then I met him, I don't know, 2 years ago. And I was like, dude, you were one of our buyers that I talk to on a daily basis. And then that just kind of evolved over the past 4 or 5 years into everybody doing acquisitions marketing. So marketing changes, and you can count on it changing on a 4 to 5 year basis, just evolving into different areas. So to wrap this up for you, when it comes down to understanding how to change your marketing, how to alter it and kind of tailor it to what you actually need to do in your business, how do you keep a pulse on that? How do you keep tabs on okay, this is you may not be actively marketing in your business. You might have somebody delegated to do that. How do you keep a pulse on that to understand okay, it's no longer dispositions marketing, it's going to acquisitions marketing, and here's what we need to do. So how do you keep track of that?
Yeah. So from a tactical side, very simply, it's working with the right professionals, right? It's having the right people in my business that have their finger on the pulse of that, right? I am not a guy who digs deep into conversion rates of direct mail or PPC on my Facebook advertising and stuff like that. I can't extrapolate actionable insights from the results. I got to work with people that do that. So the simple answer to that is making sure I'm working with the right people, like analyzing data, like something like that Christina Kraus could do, or utilizing the right kind of workforce that someone like Robert Nickel and Rocket Station with his virtual assistants can do. So for me, it is about building the relationships and finding those people and learning and understanding just enough about what they do to know that's the person who can help me do this, because I know I can't do it, or I don't want to do it, or I'm just not fit to do it, right? And not having an ego about that, realizing I can hire those people. So that's one piece of it, is partnering with the people that have the expertise that I need. The other part of it too is just really leaning into and understanding what works no matter what changes in marketing, what works from a principle standpoint. And from a principle standpoint, what I learned, from Ryan Dice and learned in those early days, and I get to, continue my process of learning even, today, and especially today, is establishing authority, right? Establishing authority. Now, how you do that changes, where you do it, like when I started in 2000, Mark Zuckerberg hadn't even thought of Facebook yet. That wasn't even born until 2007, 2008, wasn't around for non-Harvard people until 2010, right? So understanding the tactical side of how you establish authority, that's what changes. That's what I lean on experts for. But understanding that creating authority, which is really marketing at its essence, creating authority will always put you ahead of anybody else, right? If you're in a market and you're doing direct mail and you're doing PPC over here, and this guy over here is doing direct mail and he's doing PPC over here, but you wrote a book on real estate that became a bestseller, or you're on Good Morning America or whatever, talking about real estate, you are now ahead of that person, right? Because all things being equal, we want to do business with the person who really gets it and who understands it and has the exposure and is seen as the expert. So the thing that I would recommend to anybody, no matter what the tactics are underneath it, no matter how it's achieved, work on establishing the higher authority level over your competition. And if you focus on the marketing strategies that get you there, and you hire the right experts that get you there, you will get the business, right? Whether that is attracting motivated sellers and you want to create trust. If you've got a good website with good testimonials and you've got, a best-selling book on how I help motivated sellers and solve people's real estate problems, or you've got good marketing pieces like that you create for people, Josh, the kind of stuff you create for investors all over America, and your competition doesn't, and they're just an ad in the paper and a phone call with no face, the person with the real face and the real exposure creates the authority, and the higher authority wins. The best marketer wins. And so that's the thing I would say that doesn't change. How you get there changes, but that doesn't ever change. And so creating that authority and using tactics to have that exposure, to create that trust, that's really what got me when my business, blew up in a good way in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, which is when the business really went from 1 to 10 quickly. It was because I established authority and because I was getting calls from all over the world when my competitors, and there weren't many of them, but my competitors in the same markets were just marketing through the traditional channels and just doing the same thing that everybody else did. So that would be the biggest thing. Establish authority, become the authority, and dominate your niche by being the expert, by being the guy that, hey, if you need to sell your property, this guy's the guy to talk to in Columbus, Ohio, or this guy's the guy to talk to. If you're looking to buy properties and you want to buy cash flow properties, this is the guy to talk to. And you want everybody saying that. How do you get to the point where everyone's saying that? You've worked to establish that authority.
Yeah, that's huge, man. I'm glad you went in that direction, because that is, I talk about building credibility and authority, which all is like wrapped into just branding in its essence, because you're just building this reputation, this authority inside the reputation and credibility. And all of that just plays into branding. And I think that's an extremely important role when it comes down to it. And again, like I go back to Eric Brewer, like everybody in that area knows him, knows his face, because he's all over the billboards. He's got ads going. He's got postcards going. He's got newspaper ads, like everything you can think of in a marketing perspective that is relative to his target demographic, and they know him extremely well. So That's extremely valuable. Matt, we're going to have to wrap this up, man. I know we got our mastermind call coming up here in 15 minutes.
Yeah, we got to go.
We got to go. But man, I appreciate you jumping on. We're going to have you back again soon. Thank you so much for sharing everything you have. If somebody wants to connect with you and learn more about what you got going on, maybe it is the family mastermind or anything else that you got going on, what's the best way to make that happen?
Just the single best place is to go to reicollective.com. That's one of my websites. And you can contact me there. You can see some of the things I have going on there and some of the ways we're helping investors. But that's one of the best ways. And you can reach out to me on Facebook too. Connect with me on Facebook. I love interacting with people there and love making new friends and bringing new people into my sphere. So reach out to me and be glad to have any of your audience because I know they're all players that are listening to your podcast and following you, man. So come on, come talk with me.
Absolutely. Guys, I'll have that linked in the description below so you can check that out. Make sure you do. Matt, thanks for being on, man. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to having you back again soon.
Sounds good, man.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining in and listening today. Again, if you are on Apple Podcasts, make sure you head back over to the homepage right now. So go ahead and pause and hit right now. Leave a 5-star review with your feedback. I'd much appreciate that. And then if you are listening on any other platform, make sure you do subscribe. Share this with your friends. If you are a real estate investor in any way, shape, or form, share this around with your friends. A lot of great content, a lot of great guests that we have on the show here. Again, rei.video. Make sure you do go check that out. Use coupon code FIRSTVID at checkout for 50% off your first project, and you're going to get it done in 48 hours, unlimited revision, so you get exactly what you're looking for. That's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining in and listening today, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. See you later.